against Israel, known as the First Intifada, and from Afghanistan, where he was embedded with the 7th Special Forces Group based at Eglin Air Force Base. His work has appeared in a wide range of publications, including the New York Times, Newsday, The Daily Beast, Salon.com, and the Irish Times. His work has been translated into many languages, including Chinese, Japanese, Italian, German, and Spanish. Mr. Altman is married with 3 children and lives in Newport Richey. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Howard Altman.
Thank you so very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and especially those who serve. It's a very great honor for me to be here today, standing in this hallowed ground among so many valiant souls. For those who don't know me, I'm the guy you see at the Operation Helping Hand dinner, or the shooting of SOF, or the many other events around the area for, by, and about veterans. But I'm no veteran myself. As I wrote in my column, the last time I wore a uniform, it had a Cub Scouts patch on it. So, why do I cover the military? And that's because of you, the people that came out on a Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon to take part in Wreaths Across America. It's a very big reason why I cover the military. It's because of those who served and their loved ones. It's because of those who are still missing and haven't come home yet. It's because of those who made the ultimate sacrifice and those left behind to pick up the pieces, a lifelong endeavor full of struggle and pain. For many years, I was an editor, but then my bosses realized we needed more boots on the ground, and so they made me a reporter. And I said, look, we don't have anybody covering the military in the area anymore. And I could have had any beat, but I said, let me cover it. This is a very important beat, and many important stories to tell. I had a modicum of knowledge, a love of history, and a deep passion for making sure that the American public never forgets the cost of war. When I wore my Cub Scouts uniform, the Vietnam War was raging. More than 50,000 U.S. troops had been killed, many more were wounded, and those coming home returned to an unhappy welcome. Some of you in the audience might remember. A nation struggled at home and on the battlefield, and to understand why. Those lessons have stayed with me ever since and motivate me. They motivate me to tell the stories of those who served in World War II, in Korea, in Vietnam, the Balkans, in the Gulf War, in Iraq, in Afghanistan, and really everywhere around the globe where we have troops. It's a motivation that led me to go to Afghanistan, to strap on the body armor and spend some time with the 7th Special Forces Group so that I could see for myself what our troops are doing and the challenges they face. It's a motivation, as it turns out, that really echoes the Wreaths Across America motto of remember, honor, and teach. As a reporter covering the military, it's my job to help readers remember that we are still at war and we have troops spread out around the globe. To tell the story of those who have fallen and not come home so that they may be honored. And to write constantly so that on some level I can teach about what's going on with our military and what's being sacrificed in blood and treasure in your name. And to me, that's the bottom line, because you may like the military or you may not. You may support the war in Afghanistan or you may not. You may trust the leadership to do the right thing, or you may have seen enough to convince you otherwise. But whatever you believe, this much you can't be denied. The men and women who put on a uniform serve in your name. They fight and die in your name. And trillions have been spent on martial endeavors in your name. And there's too much at stake today, and that's something I think we need to do. And speaking of trillions of dollars, during his 42 years in Congress, Bill Young oversaw the expenditure of trillions of dollars as chairman of one of the most influential committees in Congress. But before he was a congressman, he was a veteran. Young served with the Florida National Guard's 53rd Infantry Brigade. After 9 years in the National Guard, he served an additional 6 years in the Army Reserves. Sorry about that wind. The list of his accomplishments on behalf of the troops is as rare as it is impressive. Young was instrumental in helping equip the U.S. military with the M4 rifle, interceptor body armor, up-armored Humvees, and mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicles, saving lives of deployed forces. And I was fortunate to know firsthand what it's like to have these tools to help keep folks safer. But it's also a driving force behind increasing equipment levels and capabilities of the Air National Guard, benefiting 129 aircraft in 6 states. They also helped make the Air National Guard's F-15s the most modernized in the nation. Young and his wife Beverly also championed bone marrow research and were instrumental in founding the Department of Defense Bill Young Marrow Donor Program, managed by the Naval Medical Research Center. The civilian portion of the registry, now called the National Marrow Donor Program, currently lists more than 10 million potential donors and is credited with saving more than 50,000 lives. In 2005, Congress established the C.W. Bill Young Cell Transplantation Program, which dramatically increased the number of donors. But there was even more to Young's commitment. He and Beverly shared a deep, abiding passion for the wounded and for the fallen. I spent many hours on the phone with Congressman Young talking about weighty issues ranging from the future of MacDill Air Force Base to the future of the military as a whole. But no issue, however, was more important than the care of the wounded, treatment of the troops, and the impact on a family when a loved one makes the ultimate sacrifice. The story of a young staff sergeant from Largo comes to mind. This young staff sergeant went to the same church as the Youngs. Last year, he sent an email to the congressman complaining that he and his men were being forced, for no apparent reason, to march through bomb-laden fields in Afghanistan, and that men were losing their limbs every single day. 2 months later, on August 2nd, 2012, that young soldier was killed in the same field that he complained about. The death helped change Congressman Young's view about Afghanistan, moving him to call for an immediate withdrawal of U.S. forces. I spent a lot of time talking with the Youngs about that soldier and others. The Youngs' interest and concern was heartfelt and genuine. Guidance helping a reporter bring stories home that took place 8,000 miles away, but have a very real effect right here. And to me as a reporter, that's the most important thing, and why it's an honor to have a wreath presented on behalf of Congressman Young. Thank you so very much for your time.